PSI views on latest development market trends, especially on the vast deployment of DERs on the grid. Germany has a rich experience on this kind of stuff now, and for many years a lot of renewables are in the grid, connected to the grid and generating energy. What were the main market requirements at the beginning of the transition?
Beginning of the transition, most of our customers did not really invest very much thought on what might happen. That was more on a political level. The first steps were that a lot of DERs came in, and then the bigger systems. With the bigger systems, life was comparatively easy. It is like introducing a large generator into the system. Yes, it comes with a certain degree of volatility depending on the sources, on the primary energy we're using, wind or PV. Then the whole thing, as I said, hockey stick curve-wise took off, and then all of a sudden the power flow started reversing in some areas. When the numbers reached a critical level, it was clear that some support was required. And the support for the DER management started at the beginning, first knowing where is the DER and what influence will it have on my power flow, with all the other things which are connected to that. And then in the end it was the question of how can we operate this large number of DERs. We have systems where we control 60,000 DERs. That's the number of controllable DER only, not the one which are below the 100 kilowatt threshold, which are not controllable. And you can imagine, regardless how big your control room is, there is no chance of controlling each DER individual by a mouse click. The next thing was to connect the DERs to the control system in a way that you can control them. In Germany, we went the way that we have a stepwise control, 100% meaning feed in whatever you can, reduce to 60, to 30, or to 0% of the installed electrical power. So the first step for us was to design a controller meeting the German laws, at the same time giving you the ability to control larger, let's say, wind farms to a much more granular degree than the 30, 60, and 100%. And then the question to integrate that into the control system, and then you have the first question arises in technological objects. I know the generator, but the generator is not alone in the network. You have another generator somewhere, let's say upstream or downstream of the grid. And then the question is, what does it mean for me? You can run a power flow, simulate, if it's not measured, the power flows, and now I'm interested in how much am I feeding in a given feeder, or how much renewable energy is connected to a bus bar, how much is connected to a transformer, let's say from the 22 to the 100 kilowatt level. The next step is then, how do you do that automatically? Because the number, as I said, the number is getting larger and larger, and well, some people even talk about lowering the threshold for controlling, so from 100 kilowatt to, let's say, 30 kilowatts, and that means we will see an increase again. And then the question is, we have weak spots. In almost all networks I know we have weak spots. How to do that automatically? And for that we introduced what we call an in-feed manager. And the in-feed manager simply considers the object, the critical spot that we have, analyzes the impact of any and all DER contributing more than a user-definable threshold, and that without user interference. The controller looms in the background, waits for a critical situation, starts when the critical situation is reached, controls until the critical situation has come down to a bearable level, and then automatically releases again the controlled DERs, so that you reach again the normal state when the control is no longer necessary.